narcissists will be devastated by the loss of the one that got away. In true narcissistic fashion, they habitually devalue those they deem beneath them, parading arrogantly in their self-deluded world. They cling to the misguided belief that their contrived self is a divine entity deserving of admiration and respect. The harsh reality of this delusion eventually crashes down upon them. It's only when they're struck by the astonishing realization that the superempath has taken flight, joining a gathering of other formidable entities, that they once again find themselves abandoned in the desolate landscape of Disappointment City. Their battered and dusty selves are all that remain. The narcissist is, and will forever remain, incapable of handling the loss of their ego boost, the superempath. We want to express our gratitude for your presence here today. We truly appreciate the time you've dedicated to being a part of this discussion. A warm welcome to all our new subscribers. We're delighted that you've chosen to become part of our community. To our returning audience, it's always a pleasure to have you back with us. If you're new to our channel, and you find any of the content relevant or relatable, we encourage you to subscribe and activate the notification bell. Narcissists are notorious for their lack of foresight. They take refuge in their misguided paths, blissfully ignorant of impending disaster. Their history is riddled with failed relationships, yet they seldom glean wisdom from their past experiences. It's only when the superempath, a crucial part of their lives, departs from their world, that the magnitude of their loss begins to dawn upon them. Initially, they exhibit no prescience at all. They remain apathetic to their own abandonment. They persist in their self-deception, with many of them seeing themselves as divine beings. They have faith in their divine talents, believing these gifts will guarantee their triumph. They convince themselves that their heavenly blessing, the superempath, will forever remain at their disposal. They fail to anticipate the challenge of replacing this source of emotional nourishment. Nonetheless, as time unfolds, the stark reality gradually takes root, an aspect we often tend to overlook. The narcissist, in essence, becomes a ticking time bomb of karma. They undeniably reap the consequences of their actions. It's simply not feasible to have a superempath in your life, mistreat them, cast them aside as though they're of no value, and anticipate zero repercussions. The ramifications are inexorable, and the narcissist will inevitably bear the brunt. When narcissists come to the realization that superempaths are not as abundant as they once believed, not akin to low-hanging fruit on a tree, panic sets in. Superempaths are a rare breed, not someone or something stumbled upon every day. This abrupt awakening plunges the narcissist into a state of desperation, an unfamiliar emotion to them. In their frantic frenzy, they rush to compensate for their loss by pursuing numerous replacements. However, these substitutes typically fall short, a far cry from the superempath they once possessed. These inferior replacements are readily available, ubiquitous, much like low-hanging fruit on a tree. Yet, as the narcissist delves into these new relationships, they encounter a startling revelation. To their surprise, they find that these replacements often mirror their own dismal behaviors and toxic traits. In some cases, they even realize that these replacements are narcissists themselves, emulating their own self-absorbed world. When the narcissist is confronted with the stark truth that the superempath has not returned to their side, has not come back, begging for reconciliation, they are left profoundly perplexed. The situation deviates from the mental script they had scripted, a narrative where they perpetually remain the central character, coveted by all. This diversion from their envisioned tale leaves them in a bewildered state in disarray. Their perplexity soon metamorphoses into profound resentment and intense envy. They begin to question why the superempath, whom they once considered inferior, could depart and not return. This awareness of their own inferiority in the absence of the superempath strikes at the very core of their being, pushing them perilously close to the edge of madness. Ultimately, the narcissist becomes consumed by an overwhelming fixation on the superempath, the one who slipped through their grasp, the one who chose not to return. The superempath becomes the central figure dominating their thoughts, an obsession they grapple with. This fixation not only underscores their own deficiencies, but also acts as an incessant reminder of the valuable being they lost and their own incapacity to retain them. As the narcissist's obsession with the superempath takes root, they resort to stalking and surveillance in a desperate bid to monitor them. They employ their new, readily available, low-quality replacements to conduct reconnaissance on the superempath, gathering information about their activities. Additionally, they manipulate flying monkeys, individuals acting on their behalf to further their agenda. The narcissist's desperation to reconnect, to find a way back into the superempath's life, drives them to great lengths to gauge the superempath's current emotions and responses. However, when their endeavours yield no results, they suffer another blow to their ego, incurring yet another narcissistic injury. This setback triggers episodes of narcissistic rage, which they unleash on anyone unfortunate enough to be in their vicinity. The narcissist also employs the superempath's name as a tool for triangulation, manipulating those around them. They leverage the superempath's qualities, hoping that this connection will enhance their own pool of emotional suppliers, as though it will help them secure higher quality sources of emotional nourishment. They repeatedly invoke the superempath's name, using it as an extension of their own identity to attract new sources of supply. Despite the superempath's absence, they remained an unwavering presence in the narcissist's thoughts. The narcissist's fixation on the superempath becomes all-encompassing, preventing them from finding their footing once more. The mental gymnastics they engage in only serve to hasten their own demise. Their practice of splitting, where they perceive things in extreme absolutes of all good or all bad, leads them to view themselves as inferior, since they are now surrounded by low-grade emotional sustenance. In contrast, the superempath, their superior source of emotional nourishment, continues unaffected, living their life to the fullest, as though the narcissist never existed. The superempath's indifference only intensifies the narcissist's fixation. The narcissist realizes that their wisest course of action is to bide their time. Patience is not a concern for the narcissist. They are more than capable of waiting, meticulously planning their return. Thus, they patiently observe, remaining vigilant, awaiting the perfect moment to reintegrate into the superempath's world. In their minds, they strategize and plot their comeback, patiently anticipating the ideal opportunity to re-enter the superempath's life. The superempath's realm becomes the narcissist's theatrical stage, where they continuously scan for signs of vulnerability or any opening to reclaim their lost position. Narcissists closely monitor the superempath, often employing techniques that were established during the more harmonious phases of the relationship. They had already devised methods to keep tabs on the superempath, even during the love-bombing phase. It's essential to recognize that for narcissists, their emotional supply is as crucial as oxygen. It's as vital to their existence as food and water are to the rest of us. However, it's imperative to exercise caution because narcissists are devoid of shame. They are capable of fabricating crises merely to lure the superempath back into their tumultuous world. These are nothing more than efforts to assess the superempath's reactions, a way to gauge their emotional temperature. Staying resolute during these challenging times is of utmost importance. We are currently in what can be termed the Hoover season, a phase in which the narcissist endeavours to draw the superempath back into their life. Rest assured, the narcissist has not altered their behaviour. They have no intentions of changing, nor do they possess the capacity to do so. Their ultimate goal remains to re-establish dominance and control over the superempath. I trust you found this information enlightening and empowering. Understanding the intricacies of narcissistic conduct and arming yourself with knowledge to safeguard your well-being is critical. I hope this knowledge assists you in gaining a better understanding of yourself and fostering healthier relationships. Until our next encounter, take care and stay safe. Just do this quickly, then a narcissist's body will immediately vibrate, because I'm anxious to see you. Have you ever found yourself manipulated, like a pawn in a narcissist's game, constantly catering to their ever-changing moods and desires? You're certainly not alone in this experience. When a narcissist manages to provoke a reaction from you, they relish a sense of control, as if they hold all the power. They are well aware of their ability to manipulate your emotions, alternately making you happy or miserable to suit their own wants and needs. But what if you could change this dynamic and regain control? What if you chose not to react at all? Today, we'll explore why narcissists fear your silence and how this powerful decision can transform the dynamics of your interactions with them. Before we delve into the intricacies of employing silence within a relationship with a narcissist, we want you to know that we're here to provide more personal support. If you're facing challenges with a narcissist in your life, you can access our assistance for as little as $1 per week. Simply follow the link in the description below to begin your journey toward healing and reclaiming your freedom. Now, let's explore why narcissists resort to silence and how you can use it to your advantage. You've likely experienced those moments when they suddenly go quiet. Let's be honest, it happens more frequently than we prefer, and each time it feels like a devastating blow, doesn't it? To truly harness the power of silence, we must first understand why narcissists employ this behavior. How can they seamlessly shift from showering you with care to abruptly withdrawing and isolating you? Narcissists adopt this approach for several reasons. First and foremost, narcissists' silence is a product of their excessive pride. They firmly believe that their words and actions are always right, and they refuse to acknowledge any wrongdoing, regardless of how significant or painful it might be for you. So when you confront them, expose their lies, call out their undesirable behavior, or attempt to have an open discussion about your feelings, they shut down and stop speaking to you. This silence is their way of avoiding the truth. They understand that engaging in such conversations will tarnish their image, but their limited capacity for self-reflection prevents them from facing this reality. It's crucial to recognize that they don't genuinely care about you, no matter any illusions you may hold. Additionally, their silence is a tool for manipulation and harm. Surprisingly, silence can be an incredibly effective tactic that leaves you feeling insecure, full of self-doubt, and trapped in a cycle of confusion. You've probably experienced this situation. You disagree with the narcissist, armed with indisputable facts supporting your viewpoint. However, their ego refuses to acknowledge the truth, leading them to withhold honesty and resort to gaslighting instead. Narcissists will manipulate situations to suit their agenda. They may even shift the blame onto you for the conflict and then employ silence, leaving you bewildered and unable to comprehend what just transpired. Regardless of the issue at hand, they will ensure that you take the blame and punish you with their silence. This period of silence will persist until one of two things happens. Either you apologize to them or promise never to bring up the issue again. Narcissists loathe revisiting their past actions, becoming highly agitated and defensive, even if the incident occurred just yesterday. Their primary goal is to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. But what if you decide to change the rules of the game? What if you choose to disengage from them completely? What if you show them that they deserve such treatment? Let me provide you with the answer. They will become fearful. Why? Because narcissists realize they have pushed you too far and crossed boundaries when you stop communicating with them, denying them the satisfaction of a reaction. The thought of your absence, the fear that they may no longer be able to manipulate and abuse you, along with the notion that you are unresponsive or that they might lose you, will instill significant apprehension within them. Simply opting for silence and refraining from being responsive strikes terror into the hearts of narcissists. However, it's crucial to understand that narcissists are incapable of bidding farewell. Consider all the unresolved conflicts from the past, and ponder this for a moment. Every time they cease communication, it becomes the inception of a new unresolved argument, an endless cycle of back and forth, because they cannot genuinely resolve matters. When you opt not to respond, they swiftly realize they have crossed a line. Despite their anger and attempts to provoke a reaction from you, they understand that you have disengaged from communication due to their actions. They grasp that addressing their transgressions with you would necessitate providing an explanation and seeking a resolution to the issue at hand. All of this engenders significant stress within them. You might wonder if maintaining silence and allowing them to face the consequences of their actions will make you a heartless person. Rest assured, it does not. This is because your intention is not to harm them, but to protect yourself and ensure that you receive the answers and resolutions you deserve. Choosing silence can indeed be a way to relieve your own pain. Let's face the truth. You've likely experienced numerous instances of these cycles of silence throughout your relationship with them. So, why do they go quiet? It's rooted in their difficulties in forming genuine connections and effectively communicating with you or anyone else. However, it is crucial not to use silence as a weapon to hurt them. Instead, choose silence when you've exhausted every other option. You've tried to reason with them, expressed your genuine emotions, and sought accountability for their actions, but nothing has produced positive outcomes. The narcissist thrives on the satisfaction of seeing you as the defeated party. They revel in confusing you because it garners the attention they desire and reinforces your negative emotions. Once you recognize this pattern, you may feel like you've tried every conceivable approach. You may have said all that needs to be said and attempted every strategy you can think of, only to find that nothing seems to work. In those moments, you make the choice to be silent. The initial step in reclaiming your self-control involves recognizing that maintaining a toxic connection with the narcissist only serves their interests. Thus, do not waste your energy trying to make them conform to your wishes. Instead, redirect your attention inwards, prioritizing your own well-being. Let me underscore this point. No matter what you say or do, the situation with this toxic individual will not improve. Opting for silence is an act of self-empowerment that simultaneously strikes fear into the narcissist. It sets you on the path to breaking free from their grip once and for all. Thank you for tuning in, and remain vigilant for those warning signs. Keep your senses sharp, stay resilient and brave, and embark on living your best life. Start